Alright guys, you gotta help me out. I'm in big trouble. Turns out that I made a comment, and this happens from time to time. People make comments. Let me show you this real quick. Oh, isn't that nice? Anyway, so I'm gonna try and explain myself, explain what was said. But basically, somebody said that you cannot safely chamber around, have the ejector come down on top of the rim of the brass, and that would damage something. Now, it's very likely that that will damage something. My only thing is, what about those of us who never heard that before and have been doing it for the last 100 years? I've never heard that. Now, yeah, it's very likely that what you're gonna do is the top of this ejector, it's not polished, and if it comes down, you could have a hard impact on that. And nobody's talking about the mechanical properties of that ejector. What kind of heat treatment is on it? Is it cast? There's no way to know. And I would say that maybe firearms should have the ability to have a chambered round and the slide slam home, and it would work. And when you look at the profile of the chamber, you don't see a cutout on the side for an ejector. You would see that maybe on like a rifle cartridge where you have the chamber fully encapsulates the round. Now, to me, it's like, well, there's plenty of room for this thing to swing out, and you could polish the front of that, and you could safely drop it on there. Now, what happens in every profession is people get tunnel vision, and they got an idea planted in their head, and they stick with it, and they never pursue anything else. But I have to think that cycling around is probably one of the most violent things any mechanism sustains. And no, I'm not going to throw this on the floor. I'm not going to throw this on the floor. But boy, wouldn't it be great if people did have the ability to do so? What if it was in fact a something that could handle abuse just like a hammer? And anyway, so all I'm saying is the whole gun industry has been guarded by people with tattoos, prior military experience. And when you take these things and you put them in front of a mechanical engineer, they start asking different questions. They ask about the properties of the material, thermal expansion, what kind of pressures are. That's not something that happens from a guy in the trench. And unfortunately, I believe that the gun industry is run by people who are really just applications guys. They're not engineers. Now, yeah, there's some good engineering, and is it good or bad? I don't know. But I think that I have been chambering rounds. You get that loose round, you drop it in there, you slide it home. I've never broke an ejector. I've never heard of somebody breaking an ejector except for YouTube. And that's the other thing, is all these weird ideas, they come from the internet. I've never met somebody in person tell me like, oh yeah, I used to break ejectors on a daily basis because I was doing that and I had to stop doing that. And and I hear some other weird ideas about somebody says you can't use a brass brush to clean your barrel because it will wear it out. And it's like, okay, yeah, I guess so. I don't even clean my gun. Anyway, so I don't buy complete guns. I bought these slides raw, and I finished them, nickeled them, and I had a good time making it. I've always wanted to have matching pistols. I just thought that would be fun to do, and so that's what I did here. And I have to say that's another part of the gun industry that I find a little annoying. It's like every time somebody promotes a gun, it's like it looks the same as the other gun. I don't see any variation. I'm like, you got your favorite projectile, you chamber it, and you can put it in a handgun configuration, you can put it in a carbine configuration, you put it in a rifle configuration. And then somebody's got some new rifle with a name on it, and there's this thing called marketing, and marketing does their magic, and people all of a sudden, because it says Colt on the side of it, all of a sudden it's something different. But I personally believe that there's one guy making all the barrels for everybody. I don't believe that there's multiple manufacturers. I think people are buying this stuff and putting their name on it. That's just me. I'm sure that somebody's going to tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. I did a video. If you look through my collection, I did one called 7075 versus 6061. And the whole point of that video was based on the cost of 7075 aluminum. I do not believe that when people market stuff as 7075 aluminum, that's not really what it is. It's probably 6061, and they just sell it as that. And there's no way you can sell a lower receiver that's made out of 7075 for that price and include all the manufacturing in it. It just does. The numbers don't work out. Does it matter? No, it does not matter. In our world, 6061 and 7075 are going to be plenty sufficient for anything we do. Now, in fact, I can't think of an application where it had to be 7075. But anyway, the reason why I bring up that video is if you look at the comments and you look at the response, it stirred a lot of emotion. And the whole point I was trying to make was missed, and it was another opportunity for somebody to put pearls before swine. And that's just my opinion, and I'm just a guy who I just have my own culture with firearms. And there you go. That's my official rebuttal.